This is a very interesting topic and a topic that we can go a little bit longer than 12 minutes on. I can assure, but I'll try to keep it as brief that I can. Um, so essentially, Wolverhampton Wanderers, they want they want VAR to be scrapped in the Premier League. They've came out with a statement, an interesting statement. Um, Look, VAR has had its troubles. There's there's no getting away from that. VAR has had its troubles, especially this season. There's been a lot. Even just going to today, there was the um, Anthony Gordon incident with Amrabat catching him on his heel, no penalty being given in the first half, not even a VAR check, which is kind of, in my opinion, kind of, when especially in the Premier League, when they go check VAR, it's essentially just to confirm the call. But let's go back to the basis of this conversation. Wolverhampton Wanderers have launched a motion to the Premier League board that they want to scrap VAR, and there's going to be a vote held next month regarding a meeting with all 20 clubs. For this to pass, it's not a majority. When you look at 20 clubs, 11 is majority. It's not majority in this case. They were going to need 13, so it's a little bit more than majority. They're going to need 13 other clubs at the meeting to pass this for it to happen. And if this were to be passed, it would see VAR, video assistant refereeing, to be completely removed from the Premier League right away. And that's it. In the statement that the Wolves posted, they said, "There is no blame to be placed. We are all just looking for the best possible outcome for football, and all stakeholders have been working hard to try and make the introduction of additional technology a success. However, after 5 seasons of VAR in the Premier League, it's time for a constructive and critical debate on its future. Our position is that the price we are paying for a small increase in accuracy is at odds with the spirit of our game, and as a result, we should remove it from the 2024-25 season onwards." Wolves, while they were making this complaint, they listed this proposition. They listed a numerous amount of complaints, including the impact on goal separations, the frustration inside the stadium due to lengthy VAR checks, hostile atmospheres with protests and booing of the Premier League anthem and chants against VAR, overreach of VAR's original purpose to correct clear and obvious mistakes, now over-analyzing subjective decisions, diminished accountability of on-field officials due to the VAR safety net, continuing error despite VAR with support unable to accept human error after multiple views and replay, disruption of the Premier League's fast pace with lengthy VAR checks and more at a time, causing matches to run excessively long, constant disclosure about VAR decisions, often overshadowing the match itself and tarnishing the reputation of the league, erosion of trust and reputation with VAR, fueling completely nonsensical allegations of corruption. To keep this in perspective, Wolves have been the worst affected team with VAR, with more additions going against them than any other club since it was introduced in 2019-20. They've had many calls against them, and they're not even close to the second worst team, which is Arsenal. Statistically, is not even close. They are clearly the worst affected team. Okay. VAR has had its issues. VAR, I love the statement when they say the difference in accuracy is not worth because that is providing, like, not worse than the issues that it's providing, like it doesn't overcome it. I agree with that statement for the fact, like, I don't understand how you can have video official referees with the amount of cameras that we have, with the technology we have, how we see obvious penalties, obvious incidents, and no calls at all. It's for me, it's really a joke. I mean, and there's people that come out and say they need players in the VAR booth. I mean, I don't know if that's the case. I just think the people in the VAR booth are kind of incompetent, because we're looking at this. Normal fans who are watching the replays are able to understand that is a penalty. What are you doing? That is a penalty. Now, does it come down to the pressure? I mean, you're not in the stadium, so I don't know what really should affect you that much. But does it come down to pressure? Oh, I don't want to make this mistake that cost this team 3 points to this. Does it come down to pressure? Does it come down to this? But there are some obvious calls that VAR is flat out missing. And if that's the case, then why have it in the first place? Why, if you're still gonna miss the calls, why have it? Flat out, why does it even exist if you're still gonna miss the calls? VAR is something I don't think necessarily should be scrapped, because now you're looking at it from a perspective. Referees are human. They make the mistake. It's over. It's over for referee. They have no chance to, correct that. And I think there should be an added element there to protect the referees, because refereeing is a hard job. But there definitely has to be a major reconstruction of VAR, how it's implemented, how VAR officials are constructed. There has to be a huge reconstruction with the fundamentals of how VAR is used, especially in the Premier League. Number one, when it comes to, reviews happening on the field, I think referees should have more of an onus whenever it comes to being able to check their own mistake. What I mean by that, in the Premier League and even in the Champions League, whenever the play goes to VAR, if VAR tells the referee to go look at it itself, 99 out of 100 times, they're gonna change the call. For me, I think referees should be allowed to correct their own mistakes, not just with the most obvious of obvious ones. I think if VAR is doing so bad in general of decision making in the booth themselves, then they shouldn't really have the final say. In my opinion, I think VAR, the booth, whenever it comes to these secondhand decisions, they have the final say, because anytime they tell the referee to go look, I just think they're trying to sell it to the fans in the stadium, the referee is having a double look. He agrees, he's trying to correct his own mistake. But I mean, whenever it's 99% of the time, I think there's a flaw in that. There's also a flaw in missing obvious penalties, obvious red cards, potential red cards. It's just constructively, they have to do a recycling of how VAR is implemented. There has to be a change in the education of VAR officials. They can't overanalyze every little detail whenever it comes to, just any situation. When it comes to a foul leading up to the goal, when it comes to a penalty, keep it simple with the penalties. If you deem there is contact, if you deem it's a handball, give it a penalty. Stop giving all these, and you do use the law of the game. The VAR tries to make things way more subjective than what it really is. Sometimes it's clear, oh, that's a penalty. It's a penalty. Don't overthink it. Don't say, he might have kicked out, or he's trying to sell for it. Don't try to look at it from a subjective point of view. Sometimes it's right to look at it. There's certain situations being subjective is correct, but sometimes just look at it from a purely, is it a penalty or not? Is it offsides or not? When it came to the Liverpool offsides against Tottenham, the Luis Diaz situation, how do you have that? How did that even happen with technology? I mean, there just needs to be a whole reconstruction of VAR. I don't think VAR should be scrapped, but there definitely should be a massive reconstruction of how VAR is implemented. Okay.